Welcome, everybody. For those of you that have been with us before, thanks for coming back. Today is a little different than what we've done in the past. So if you have been with us before, this is going to look a little bit different as far as the presentation. We're not really talking about theory anymore. We've moved beyond that. So we're not talking about, the do's, the don'ts, the challenges, the benefits. We're not talking about that tonight. Tonight, we're actually going to just do one tool. And I think, Pete, this is the first time that we've ever had a session where we're just talking about one tool, which is really exciting for Pete and I to do. Usually we're trying to rush through a whole bunch of different things. So this is just Brisk, but within Brisk, it's a big platform and does have a lot of tools within it. So we're just going to do the Brisk platform tonight and show you what it can do. And we're going to give you some examples of what it can do. So in case you haven't been with us before, I'm Kathleen Torregrossa, and I'm the Cranston's coordinator for our professional learning, and fully released out of the classroom as a teacher to do that. Pete?
Hey everybody, good evening. Pete Guyon, Cranston Public Schools. Similar to Kathy, released from the classroom to be able to promote district initiatives. I work closely with Kathy on not only sharing those initiatives with instructional coaches in our district, but to also get it out to all the teachers and administrators in our district as well. So welcome for those that are new. I think I saw Mike here for the first time. Hey, Mike.
Hey there. How you doing, everybody?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Always. So welcome. And as Kathy said, tonight's kind of fun because it'll give us an opportunity to not only talk about one tool, but to answer any questions just on one specific tool and give you time to see what Brisk does as well. So looking forward to it. Should be a fun night.
Yep. So this is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk a little bit globally about what Brisk Teaching is. It is a platform. We're also going to explain some of the things that Brisk can do for you, and we're actually going to demonstrate those for you so you can see what it can do for you across grade levels. This will provide stuff for you from K to 12. Any teacher will be able to use this tool to create instructional materials for your classroom. We're going to end that's going to be the bulk of our session today is playing with it and showing you and then giving you some time to play. Then we'll end with some tips and just kind of like before you go, you need to know kind of things, just a few things. And of course, there's always resources and time for questions. So.
And I think while Kathy's getting everything ready, and I know she's ready to go here, we've emphasized this before. And as much as we like to say that these new tools will save you time, and yes, they will, there is an initial investment of time that you have to put in to get comfortable with these tools, to know what they do, to make sure it's producing what you want it to produce. So in the long run, yes, it will save you time. But initially, you will have to spend a little time just to get comfortable with it. And that's one of the reasons that we're going to give you time tonight to get comfortable with some of the tools within Brisk and learn how to use them.
Yeah, hopefully tonight will kind of shorten your learning curve, because we're going to take you through a lot of stuff that you would normally have to experience on your own. And we're going to explain it to you anyway. But Brisk is very easy. See this little blue, the little black thing at the bottom that says the big B at the bottom there? That's the tool that pops up. And I purposely didn't share my screen full screen so you could see that up at the top of my screen, there's my little B, right? My little Brisk is always up there, so I can always access it. I'll show you how to pin it late in a few minutes. But you'll also see, as I move this thing over here, you'll also see that because I'm working on something and I want Brisk to be able to help me, I have my Brisk little icon down here. The Brisk icon will move to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you've got that Brisk icon down here, and now I move to a website, now I move to a Google Slides, that Brisk icon stays with me, which means Brisk is at my fingertips. Like it says, it works alongside you wherever you are. So whatever platform you're there, you don't have to find another website. You don't have to look for ChatGPT. Brisk is always right there for you. So that does make it a lot easier than some other platforms that don't do that. It is a Google extension. So that's why it can do that. Why is this? Oops. Why are you going back and forth? There we go. I don't know why it's so large there. Okay, so these are some of the things that it can do for you. It is very easy to use. If you you have used Google, it's you're bouncing around some stuff and you're asking things to you're asking a platform to do some things for you. So it works within your Chrome platform. It is a Google product. You are going to have to kind of look for it and download it and add it to your extensions. But I haven't met anybody that can't do that yet. That's a Google district. But it is kind of an all-in-one tool. It kind of does everything. I mean, if you were with us for Conmigo, it's similar to Conmigo, that there's a lot of different tools there that will do this things for you. So it's like one-stop shopping within the platform. So that's kind of nice. It does have really good stuff to get rid of that busy work for you. It can create a newsletter, it can create emails, it can do all that stuff. Personally, and it's all up to you, but personally, I don't use AI stuff for that. I rather type my own emails, but it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But it also creates a lot of resources for you. It's easy to do for like sub-plans if you want to do that, or it will give feedback to students on their writing. So there's a few other things that it will do. It also will include standards aligned resources, so you can make sure that you're doing things that are aligned to your curriculum. And anybody that's listened to me in the past knows that one of the things that I tell people as they're using AI is when you're creating a prompt, go into the curriculum. All of our curriculums are digital nowadays. Go into your curriculum, copy and paste the essential question of what this lesson's all about and the way students will be assessed to see whether or not they've actually achieved that standard. Copy and paste those two things into any prompt you do, so that you make sure that when you're being evaluated or somebody comes into your classroom and says, is that aligned to the curriculum? You can say, yes, it is, and you are honest. This tool will also give instant feedback. It does for students as well. Now, there's an age requirement on here, so I wouldn't be using this or sending this out with materials for my elementary students. It's really, I think it's a 16 plus, or no, it's 13 plus, I think. So that would be the end of middle school or high school. It does, you can take things from just about any website and add it into this thing too, which is kind of nice, and it formats it without too much trouble. I haven't had any problems with it formatting stuff, so that's kind of nice as well. So, see, like I said, it does docs. It integrates really nice with docs, simple. Google Slides, it'll create Google Slides for you, some of the materials that you create within Brisk, so we'll show you how to do that tonight. You can take YouTube videos and import those as a resource. You can use PDFs if you want. If you've got web-based articles or other student assignments that you want to upload, you can do any of that. So at this point, we really do want you to kind of play along with us tonight. So if you've grabbed the slide deck from the chat room, there's right here, you can click on this and it'll take you to get this extension and add that extension. I'm going to walk you through how to work that extension, but you can click on it right there. So if you're in the session, you can click on that to get to it. So this is what you're going to do. Thank you, Pete. This is what you're going to do. You're going to click on that site that Pete just put into the chat room. You're going to go to your Chrome store, your Chrome web store, and you're going to find the Brisk Teaching. Look for that icon, Brisk Teaching, and then click Add Extension when it pops up.
I'm sorry, Kath, I don't mean to interrupt, but the link that I put in the chat takes you to the main website for Brisk. When you go to that website, in the top right corner is where it mentions get Brisk for Chrome. I'm paraphrasing. I'll tell you exactly what it says. At the very top, add to Chrome for free. If you look across the top, it's in green there. It'll take you to the Chrome web store, and it'll just ask you to enable it. It may ask you a couple questions for the first, if you're accessing it for the first time. It may ask you a couple of questions. You only have to do that once, and then Kathy will show you, once you have the extension, how she pinned it so it's at the top of her toolbar, so you can easily access it.
And this is how we pin it. So I'm going to give everybody a chance, just a minute, to make sure that you've got that. So go through those steps and get it, and then I'll show you how to pin it. There's also a little, in case you forget, there's a little video on this slide deck that tells you how to pin this so that it comes up here onto your toolbar up here. It's very simple though. So let me give everybody a minute just to see if they can get to the Brisk onto their machines.
Courtney, I see your question. If you're on a school device for your school account, Courtney, the Chrome web store may be blocked for teachers. You can also switch out of your school account and you can log in to your personal account and then go to the Chrome web store and you can add the extension there. Greg, what about Mac users? I'm on a Mac right now. It has nothing to do with Mac or Dell. As long as you're in Chrome and you can access the Chrome web store, it doesn't matter what device you're on.
Everybody should have their own personal Gmail account too. So I have my CPS account, but I also have Kathleen Torregrossa at gmail.com. And anything I can't access through my CPS account, my school account, I go over to my personal Gmail account, and you can access this from your personal Gmail account. And then once you create something, you can export it out into your CPS, your school account. So. Okay, so to pin, if you want to just glance back at my screen for a second, to pin this, you come up here at the top of your, you'll see the little puzzle piece here. That little puzzle piece allows you to add things up into your toolbar. That's the whole purpose of this. So you're just going to click it, and then you'll see all these different things that you can pin and unpin. If you want them to be up there, you're going to you click on the pin if you want it to be up there. So you can see Brisk Teaching is right here for me. If I unpin that, it goes away. You can see that now my Brisk is not up here in my toolbar. So I'm going to come back. Oh, no, I've lost me. Here's my Brisk Teaching, and I'm going to pin that again, and there it goes. My Brisk is back up here. Okay? Now, Brisk comes back down here too, but yeah, and that kind of automatically happens once you have it pinned up here. Okay? If you don't see it right away, just hit refresh, and it'll come up. Okay. Use the chat if you want me to slow down, but otherwise I'm going to move forward. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kathy. Courtney, you should be all set. I wanted to make sure I could use it with my personal Gmail account, and it just took me right through it on my personal Gmail account. So that should work for you. And Greg, hopefully, like I said, it didn't matter. So hopefully you should be all set. But if there's any issues, perfect. Thanks, Courtney. If there's any issues, just let us know, and we'll make sure we can try to remedy it for you.
Okay. So like I said, now once you have it, you'll see the little Brisk icons that will come up all over the place because it helps you do just about anything. So it'll show up in the bottom on a Google Doc. It shows up when you're doing even on YouTube videos in case you want to import something from from YouTube into something else. It shows up there. Any of your slide decks, you can see I'm on a slide deck right now, and you can see that it's down here at the bottom in case I want to do something else. It does the same thing with websites and articles. I really like it when I do a lot of research. I like to read research articles. I'm a geek. And so it pops up on my research articles a lot, which I really like because then I can tag something within it and ask Brisk to find more information, which is really kind of cool. It will show up on PDFs as well. It doesn't allow you to, because it's a PDF, it doesn't allow you to change a PDF, but it allows you to save a PDF or kind of pull something aside. And it will show up on if students are sending you writing assignments and you're reviewing them and you've got Brisk on board, it will, especially if you're reviewing student assignments within the Brisk platform, it'll show up at the bottom. And it'll also, if you're reviewing student work within Brisk itself, which we're going to show you in a few minutes, it'll actually show up with a little toolbar of additional things that you can do with Brisk for student writing. So we will show you that. You can always move if this thing annoys you. You can hide them. I don't hide them anymore. I had like 7 or 8 of these little buttons down here. I've hidden all the rest of those, but I've left Brisk here because I do use Brisk a lot. I'm about to get rid of Magic School because I use Brisk so much more. The little M here is Magic School. I use Brisk so much more that I really don't use Magic School anymore. But you can get rid of those if you don't want them. You just drag and get rid of them. Okay, so Brisk. So it is free. And it's free forever. We like that. I don't know about other school districts, but in Cranston, we're broke. Cranston doesn't like to pay for anything, especially for teacher tech tools, because there are just thousands of them out there and everybody would want something different. So we just don't do that. But this what happens to be free for anyway on Chrome. So it's not a problem. There is a paid version that gives you a little bit more access. I've never, ever needed to go beyond the access I have on my free plan. So you can see what it does though. It's got 23 create tools. You can do some feedback styles. The inspect writing tool kind of lets you look at student writing, and Pete's going to show you that. There is a leveler tool. I'm going to show you that. It does translation. It translates text into 30 different languages, so all built into one. So it really is a powerful site. Okay. Am I still going, or is it you now, Pete?
Yeah, it's me. I'll jump in.
Okay.
Just give me 1 sec here.
I should stop presenting for you, so you can. You want to present now?
Yeah, you should see my screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I had a quick question. If while you're doing the transition,
Go for it, Mike.
hey, so you mentioned it's free, Kathleen and Pete, but I got a thing. I had a thing where it asked me to like refer friends and things like that. Is that common for that to happen or whatever? So it said like you have to keep your free edition, recommend us to 5 people kind of a thing. Has anybody heard of something like that? I thought it was kind of odd at first, but in order to maintain the free thing or whatever, I was curious. That happened a couple of months ago. I've been using this on and off, and I have a basic understanding, but I was curious if anybody else has had that issue.
So, Mike, are you on a personal account or a district school account?
District school account.
That's odd then.
So, Mike, I think it's just a way for you to share with colleagues, and kind of similar to Edpuzzle. If you referred 3 friends, you were able to get access with the free version to add or to create 3 more videos.
Okay.
So it's their kind of inexpensive way of kind of getting the word out on Brisk. They give you something where you get to access the premium features a little bit longer.
Okay.
But I think that's basically it. There's nothing regarding the free and the paid version, as Kathy mentioned. The free version gives you plenty of tools to use, and we'll go through each of those tools. I do know an English teacher at the high school that pays for it, but primarily because she sees a lot of student written submission, and she uses the writing tools and the feedback tools quite a bit. So she pays for it, but as Kathy mentioned in the slide, that their intention is for it to be free forever, and based on how most teachers use it, just the free features would be enough. I will say that when Kathy and I were playing with this together, me creating a whole bunch of different things within a short period of time, it said, okay, you've been using it quite a bit, you can't come back for like another 30 minutes or something like that.
Oh, wow. All right.
But I was using it quite a bit. I was like creating a bunch of stuff in a very short period of time.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I encountered.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So as Kathy had mentioned, it is a free Chrome extension. It is, let me get rid of this. It is a free Chrome extension. It is added onto your toolbar. And then anything that you open up, as long as you see this B in the right-hand corner, you can interact with that source. So I'm going to show you a couple of different tools in the Create. Kathy's going to show you a few others in the Create, and we're going to kind of break it down section by section. So I have just a video here on the water cycle. Let me just get through the ad. Okay, so this is just a video on the water cycle. If you notice in the bottom right corner is the B that Kathy was talking about. When I click on that B, it opens up, it identifies that, hey, I'm on a YouTube video, and what do you want to do with this video? And as you can see, we have create, give feedback, inspect writing, change level, and boost student activity. Kathy and I are going to dedicate a period of time for each one of those 5 blocks and just show you a couple of tools in each, just to see what you can possibly do with Brisk. Then we'll give you time Once again, it is one tool, but think about some different features within this tool that you could possibly use in your classroom tomorrow, because ultimately that's our goal when we do share a presentation with you. We want you to be able to pull at least one thing that you can implement in your classroom tomorrow. Okay, so I have my video. I clicked on B for Brisk. If I didn't mean to click on B, I can click B again and it disappears. But I click on B, and from this video, I want to create something. When I click create, I have all of these options that I can create just off of this water cycle video. So let's say in a pinch, whether you will not be in tomorrow, or if you want to create a quick quiz for the students, I can just simply click on quiz, and it's going to open up another smaller window that says, it gives me a prompt, first of all. It allows me to pick the tool. I've already picked the tool being quiz. I can choose a language in which I want this quiz to be created in. I can basically use the standard AI. There is a turbo AI, but that's for the paid version. The standard AI is completely fine. If I have standards, as Kathy mentioned earlier, and I want to add standards to this quiz, I can click on standards and add standard for the water cycle. Here is where you can just put in your prompt. As you can see, it created a prompt for me. I didn't even have to create anything. Excuse me. Below that gives me the ability to differentiate it. Let's say I want to do it for my 6th grade class. I want to do just multiple choice, and I want 5 questions. Okay. I do have the option of looking at previous prompts. So if you did prompt it in the past and you like the prompt that you use when you used it, you can click on this prompt history and it shows you all of your previous prompts. But once again, it created this default prompt that says create a quiz about this YouTube video. I'm not going to change anything, and I'm just going to click next. It's going to give me the option, do I want it in a document or do I want it on Google Form? I personally like the Google Form because it allows you to create it as a quiz. Because it is multiple choice, it'll correct it for you. When I click on new form and click Brisket, in just a second, you will now see my quiz being created on that video. And the way it works is basically the AI is taking the transcript from the video and then creating the questions off of that transcript. So in the event that you ever run into a situation where you've chosen a video that there is no transcript and nothing gets created as a result of that, you probably just want to look at a different video, but most of the videos do have a transcript that does go with them. Here's your video, here's your quiz on your video. Here are the 5 questions I've asked. It did give me the citation to the actual video. If you are familiar with Google Forms, you know that in order to create it as a quiz, you have to go into into settings, and then make it a quiz, and then give it a point value and identify the correct answer. All of that is done for you. The default point value is just 1. So the total points for this quiz is just 5, but you can go in there and change the point value if you wish. But when I click on the question, it's already identified the correct answer. All you as the teacher have to do now is just click published. Well, it is published. Make sure that it's published and that your students can access it, and then just send this link out to your students for a quiz. You can do the same exact thing on a Google document. As you saw there, it gave me another choice. But once again, I prefer using Google Forms. When it is created, you always have the option to rate it, or if you wanted to do something else or add more to it, you can click on these options here and add more to it if you wish. It's fully customizable, so if you didn't like a question, you can always delete it and add another one here if you wish. Very easy, very simple to use. If I go back to that video and I go to create, or I click on Brisk once again, and I go to create, you see all these other options here: a rubric, a syllabus, a progress report, resource, exemplar, so on and so forth. If you've downloaded or if you've added the extension, you can actually go in and see that. If you look towards the bottom, or hopefully if you can see it on my screen, anything that has either the school or a star in front of it is for the paid version. So for instance, if you wanted to create an SAT practice test, you cannot do that with the free version. You would have to pay or have a subscription, a paid subscription, in order to access these other features here. There are some other tools in here that will show you that have a star next to it. That also signifies that you need to have a paid subscription, to let you know. So in addition to this, let's do a guided notes. If I click on guided notes for this video, so let's say you want to show the video to the students, or you want them to watch it and then do some guided notes. Same thing, I click on guided notes, I go to English, I'm going to use the standard AI, I'm going to identify it as a 6th grade, which it picked up from my last one, I'm assuming, and I'm going to click Brisket. And in just a couple seconds, it's going to create a Google document that's going to provide the students with some guiding, and they fill in the blanks as they go through the video. And you should see that in front of you here. Not only does it give me some guided notes based on the video itself, but at the bottom it gave me kind of a quick assessment, kind of a formative assessment here to see if I know the vocab, a fun fact, and in fact even gave me a reflection question. So, you know, if you're looking for something for the kids to do while you're watching or having them watch a video, it's once again easily done. In fact, it's quicker than what you're seeing right now. It probably doesn't help that I've got 40 different tabs open at the top, so it does move a little slower here. You also have the ability, once it is done, to translate it here, to make it shorter, to make it longer, more detail, less detail, or if you have a specific change, you can just type in what you want it to do or how you want it created, and then click Brisket here. Very easy, very, very easy to use. The last thing I'm just going to quickly show you before Kathy shows you some of the other tools. Something else I just wanted to say about this. It'll come back to me. I will remember and I will tell you. You know what? I haven't done this with the video, so what's worse than a live demonstration, right? I'm going to go back to my video. Brisk now offers the ability to create a podcast, similar to if you've attended our Notebook LM session. You know that Notebook LM creates these fantastic podcasts where you have two co-hosts going back and forth talking about the information that you've uploaded to the notebook. Well, Brisk now offers that same feature. However, it's very, very short. It's no longer than 2 minutes. You do have two co-hosts, a male and a female voice, and they're a little different from the voices that you get in Notebook LM. So if you're looking to mix it up a little bit, the only downside, like I said, is you don't have a podcast longer than 2 minutes. So I feel that the podcast feature in Brisk is geared more towards elementary students, where the Notebook LM podcast is more for middle and high school students. But similar to this video, I'm going to click on B once again. I'm going to click on, oops, I think I switched the video. Let's go with it. We'll go how Wells and Aquapore's work here. I'm going to click B for Brisk. I'm going to click Create. Now I'm going to go to this podcast feature. Once again, it's going to allow me to personalize it, to customize it. I'm going to click Brisket. And not only does it generate the podcast, the two co-hosts are Jamal and Maria, but also kind of gives me the breakdown, the entire transcript, which is a very nice feature. You don't get that in Notebook LM, with the ability to play it right here. As it's continuing to generate. I don't know. I know we had some issue playing volume before, but let me tell me, Kathy, if you can hear Jamal and Maria. Yes, no?
I cannot.
Yeah, I'd have to share the tab, but completely two different voices. But once again, it's because we are sharing an entire screen, not a tab, so it's not the best for video voices. Regardless, you can give it a shot with anything that you upload to it, that you link it to. If I opened that Brisk in a Google document that had a lesson plan or notes on what you're teaching tomorrow, I can click on Brisk, create podcast, and it'll just take the information from your Google document or from your slides presentation, as Kathy mentioned, or a PDF. Last thing I want to say before Kathy shares a couple of tools with you is you can easily download it here. We're going to talk about the Boost in a little bit. Once it's downloaded, you can easily share it out through whatever learning system, such as Google Classroom, that you're using, or however you would get this information out to your students. A lot of great tools. Those are just three kind of simple ones. I know Kathy wants to talk a little bit of some others. Then we're going to give you time to try the create option and then move on to the next section.
Okay, so let me go into, let's see. How do I get into, let's see. Oh, I need a doc open, huh? I forgot that.
You do.
Yep. I meant to do that. I meant to do that ahead of time. Wait a minute, right here. I had it all set up and then I lost it. Okay. Just waiting for my little B to show up. There we are. Okay. So here is a written piece. This was a story that I did with kindergarten for our reading week at Woodridge School. And the kids, we were reviewing basically the parts of narrative writing, which is for our kindergarten level is characters, setting, problem, solution. And the kids worked in teams. One team was characters, one team was setting, one team came up with a problem, and the last team had to come up with a solution. And I just sat at my computer, and each team gave me some information. So it's kindergarten, so like 1 or 2 sentences. And you could see that this is the story that was created. So now I want to do a couple things. Now I got this story, I want to create some other activities to do with it. So I'm going to hit my little, get rid of this thing over here. Can I move this sucker? Yeah, there we go. So here's my Brisk. So Pete, can you remind me what are the tools you want me to do right now? I can't see that on my screen.
Yeah. You mentioned you were going to take a look at decodable text, depth of knowledge, and presentation.
Decodable, DOK, and presentation. Okay. So here we go. Let's start with presentation. So I'm going to create a presentation that is really cool. Now, a couple things I want to show you is, first of all, I'm just going to be I can create anything I want to. So I want to create, I'm going to start with DOK questions. Let me start with that one because this one's a little bit easier. Presentation takes a little bit long time. So under the create button, let me just go back so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, no, that's right. So when you hit, I'm sorry, let me go back here. See where it says presentation here and it's got the up and down arrows? When you click on that, you get to everything, all the tools. So DOK questions, I want to do that. I want to do them in English, just to let you know, look at all these languages. You can translate anything. This is a wonderful tool if you are teaching MLL students. We're going to stay with English. I'm just going to use standard AI to help me out here. And so what I want to do is please, it's not pre-K, it's going to be kindergarten. Create 5 questions to check understanding of the story. Brisket. So it gives me a lot of options. And you can see how quick it works. Okay. So I'm going to come back up here and I can do just basic recall questions. Remember the kindergartner kids, who are the 3 main characters in the story? What color is Godzilla? Godzilla was one of the main characters in the story. How did Venom and Horse work together to solve the problem? That was a major skill, because remember, I did problem and solution, so that was something I would want to do. Why do you think Godzilla was angry at first? I don't care. That wasn't part of mine, so I wouldn't pick that question. But it creates these questions, but it's nice that it creates it in the higher order. So it goes from recall all the way to extended thinking. So it really ramps it up. If you could add another character to the story, who would it be and why would they help this story? My kindergartners were able to answer that question. Like, who else would you have added? Because they already had a whole bunch of characters they wanted to add, but they had to limit it because I only let them do 3. They had to limit it. So they went, well, we could add in the dragon, and the dragon could use the fire to put out rain. I'm like, okay, how would a dragon's fire put out the rain? Well, it would create steam. And I just looked at the teachers. I'm like, how does a kindergarten know that? And they're like, oh, they did the water cycle. I'm like, okay. So that's one of the things that it can do. Let me get out of this. Oops, did I get out of that? Oh, I need my, what happened? Oh, I got out of the story. Kindergarten story, here it is. Okay, wait for my little bee to come back up so I can tell you something else. Here's my bee. There we are. Okay, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come to create. Watch what else I can do. So I could, like I said, we could translate it, but I can also, you can see this text kind of hard if I wanted the kindergarten kids to be able to read it themselves. This is good for me to read aloud to them, and they can answer the questions about it. And they loved listening to the story because they were very invested in it. It was their story. But now if I want to send it home, or I want them to practice like an easier one, decodable text. It's going to be kindergarten. Create this story in a simpler version that my kindergarten students could read on their own. All I'm going to do is Brisket. By the way, prompt history, I could have taken that prompt out of my history because I use that prompt a lot. But now you see what it does? So they know the whole story, but now they've got a readable version. That looks like something clearly that a kindergarten student could read. So could I still ask them questions? Yeah, they know the bigger story, but this is a way that I can get them to read at that level. So that's just another way I can do it. Okay, I'm going to go back to, let me undo that. Can I go to undo? No, changes it. Let me come back to my story. Let me come back to wait for my bee to come up. I'm going to show you one more thing. Great. I'm going to come down to the presentation. I now want to make a presentation of this. For example, if I wanted to turn this into a Google slide deck so that I could break this thing up and then we literally could create a little book like this. So I want to create a presentation. I'm going to click on presentation. I have presentation in English. I'm going to use standard AI. I'm not anything else. I want it to be at kindergarten level. I want it to be 5 slides. I don't want it to be very long. So but I can change this. I can make this into as many slides as I want, but I'm just going to choose 5 slides. It is kindergarten. I'm going to say without images. You can do it with images, but you can see there's the schoolhouse and the star. I can't do images on my free play plan, but that's okay because I really want my kids to do the images. I want them to do it. So without images, and click on next. Oops. Oh, I have to describe. Create a slide deck of this story. Simple. Next. Now it gives me different things to do. This is where Pete and I figured out the stars and the schoolhouses, because I wanted to use aqua, and that's a premium version. You can't do that. So I'm going to pick, let's see, let's do snowy. It's not really a story about snowy, but let's pick that, and I'm going to brisk it. Okay, so here it is. Now this is because it's a presentation and that's what it's designed to do. It does bullet your information. So each one of these pages you will see is a bulleted list, right? So, but I want to use it as a storybook, but I want my kids to be able to read it. You can also see that it has created it in a simpler version because I identified that it's for kindergarten. So it automatically leveled it for me, even without telling it to do that. I mean, I said I picked kindergarten. But now all I would do is I literally go like this. I just go down. Oops. Down. Whoops. Too fast, Kathy. And I just get rid of the bullets. Now I have a page like that. I very often do this without a background at all, so that the kid, so that I don't have to print stuff that's a background. And then the kids go ahead and they do the illustrations. Now, look at something else that it does for me, which I didn't ask it to do. And it was a really nice add-on, is so it has our meet our playground friends. The next one is, a meteor arrives. Trouble is coming. Teamwork saves the day. We were able to talk about chapter headings with kindergartners. So I had all these mini chapters for my little kindergarten kids. And remember, this is a story they know. You'll also notice that there's no punctuation on a lot of them, but most of them usually are complete sentences. These are clearly for kindergartners, but I sometimes have to add the punctuation, but you can see it added the question mark. So sometimes it's got the punctuation and other times it doesn't. So I think those are my 3. Any questions, anything, comments yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I know that question was for the participants, but I just want to quickly add that, honestly, it's the type of tool, everyone, that you just have to open up any source, any resource that you have that you use to teach your students, click the B, and then just try creating different things to see that what it can do for you. In the slides presentation, I've given you a link to on slide 17. There's a link that if you're unsure what to use for your resources, there are some create tools with some like linked documents already in there for you to try the different tools. So maybe for the next 5 minutes, that was a quick 50 minutes, Kathy. Maybe we give them 5 minutes to try some of the, since it's 7:20, 5 minutes to try the create tools. Kathy and I will be here to answer any questions at 7:25. The next few won't take as long because there are not as many tools, maybe the boost, but it won't be as long as this initial part. So take 5 minutes, 7:25, we'll talk about the next section, which talks about how you can provide some feedback to student writing. And if you have any questions, in the meantime, ask away. I guess why people are looking and trying stuff out, if you notice when Kathy was presenting, there was the option to, at the very top, when you click the B, it said, when you go to create, there's a big bar that says create anything. What that feature does is, if you don't see anything that's created there for you, you can click on create anything and prompt it to give you anything. Like, for instance, if you were looking for a list of 10 vocabulary words based on a Google document, there's really no vocab essential tool there. But if you clicked on the create anything and said, give me the 10 vocab words with definitions on this document, it'll do that for you. So Create Anything will do whatever you're looking for it to do if there's not a tool for it. No, just wanted to quickly explain that. All right. So real quick, we just want to talk about, and this shouldn't take long at all. I have a document here, a Google document. I got it offline. The question was, are zoos ethical? And it's a student example for an argumentative writing. When I open Brisk, in Google Docs, and I go to the give feedback option, as a free user, I have 3 options. I can create a glow and grow. I can add a rubric and give some feedback based on the rubric that you as the teacher might be using to grade the student's submission, or you can offer suggestions for next steps to build up some skills. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but I will go over the rubric criteria one. When I click on that tool, it once again allows me to give some feedback. I do want to also mention here that you'll see that you can only give so many feedbacks on the free version when it comes to using the feedback option, the feedback personalization. So if you're doing a bunch of assignments, there are other tools that you might want to consider here, but you'll see basically how many I have left. Very simply, I had the option to upload the rubric right here, which is just a standard argumentative rubric. I would identify the grade, the language, and I would include, or let's quickly, oops, that's not what I want. We want to change it to 8th grade, include that. I want it to be focused on the rubric here. And I want to click on Brisk. And what it will do is it'll take a look at my uploaded rubric, which focused on focus, structure, introduction, evidence, conclusion, and style. Those were the criteria for my rubric. And it gave me some feedback for each part of that criteria of the rubric that I can either copy and paste in here, or I can click insert and it goes right into the document as well. Very nice, very easy. You probably understand now why the English teacher pays for this, because she can do that for all of her students for her 10th grade and 11th grade English class, but it's built right in there for you. Something we always say, of course, is take a look at it and make sure it's reflective of, that you agree with it. We always like to say that let AI do 80% of the work, and maybe that additional 20% is you making sure that it's the right message, it's clear, and it's kind of written like you would write it as well. If I do get out of that and I go to, I'm going to just actually, if I could go back, I should delete that. If I go back to the Brisk give feedback on writing and I click the glow and grow, once again, I can only do it on so many presentations. It does reset itself. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't recall if it's within a day. I think it's within a day, but I'm not fully sure on that. But you'll have options like the next day. I believe it's the next day to go back and to do some additional. Glow and grow, similar thing. I uploaded the rubric here. It's for 8th grade class. I'm going to click Brisk, and now it's going to give me, hey, what did the student do very well? What areas can they improve on? I will say as a side note, I know Google, Kathy and I know specifically that Google is looking to build this exact tool right in Google Doc some point this year. Okay. So in the meantime, you have Brisk, but there'll be something very similar to this that you as the teacher, some point in 2025, will be able to use right in Google Classroom. So anyways, you do have some options there as well. So I just want to give everyone a couple minutes, especially if you're a secondary teacher, to maybe once again try that give feedback tool right in Brisk there. Once again, we did include some examples in the presentation. There's a linked page It's this page right here, right from Brisk, that shows you most of the tools, not all of the tools, but if you click on try it, it'll open up a Google Doc, let's say, and it'll give you the options and show you how to possibly use that. Kathy, I don't know if we wanted to take a quick break now, or if you wanted to go through like the inspect or the translate real quick. I think in our presentation, we were going to go over the translate or the inspect writing as well. Do you want me to quickly do it?
You can do. Well, I kind of already did the translate because that tool was already there, so that was already done. And we also talked about doing the leveling, but I kind of sort of showed that as well. So if you want to go ahead and do the
sure. Yeah, I'll quickly go over it. Yeah, absolutely.
You're already presenting. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So you also have within the give feedback underneath create, you have the inspect writing. If you're familiar with any of the tools out there, such as draft back or revision history, what that tool will do is it'll look at the version history of the Google document, and you'll be able to see how the student created that document. Basically, you can see here that there were 4 pastes. This top part was the information from the rubric that I deleted. So you see it did pick that up. It showed that it was deleted. It shows how many edits, and it also shows the amount of time that I spent on it. You can always play it back for the student as well. This will be a quick one. But if you notice here, at each of the copy and paste, it kind of lets you know right at that moment in this playback, that's when it happened. I'll try to slow it down for you a little bit here. So it's basically showing you how this document was created. So once again, if you have a student submitting 3 pages to you, and you run it through this inspect tool, you see that, hey, you've only spent 3 minutes on it, and there's 4 large copy and pastes. At least at that point, you should be having a conversation with your students about where he or she possibly got their information from. So that's the inspect writing tool. And
so
then
can I just add one more comment on the inspect tool? So I know that if you have if you're an ELA or social studies teacher and you're doing stuff where kids are doing a lot of writing, especially in the middle schools and the high schools, I've had teachers call and say, I know this kid is using AI, I'm going to give him an F. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Let's have a conversation about that. And you're going to have a conversation with the kid, because you're going to be in trouble with the parent if you just say, oh, you used AI and you're done. So this inspect tool gives you that power to be able to say, well, it gives you the power to have that conversation, and it's an informed conversation. It gives you a record of what the kid did and how they did it, and the timing is really important. So now if you say, oh, this really looks like AI, okay, let's put it into Brisk, let's look at the inspect tool, let me see what it did, and then literally bring the kid up, sit side by side and say, look, explain this to me. Like, where did you get that? You did this large cut and paste. Where did you get that information from? If a kiddo said to me, well, I found that in, some article, okay, that's fine. But when you cut and paste from an article and you put it in here, it makes it look like it's your own work unless you cite it. So now I give an opportunity to teach the student about citing it, and also to say, but in addition to citing something, and that's really good information, I also need to hear your voice, your thoughts, and you need to answer my questions as well. So it enriches the conversation with our students by having this inspect tool to say, let's have a conversation. So think about the old-fashioned writing conferences that we used to have with students, which we'd love to do more, but this gives us really good information to have those one-on-one student conferences again. And once you have those conferences, which take time, now you can, and the kids have experienced it with you as the teacher, you could have the kids conference with each other. So it's a really nice and powerful tool to address the concern that our teachers who do a lot of writing have about plagiarism or using AI and not citing it. So off my soapbox, sorry.
No worries. All right. And then lastly, before we break for a couple minutes, you have the ability to change level on something. Obviously, this is a student submission, but if you had, no, I have something on the water cycle because I've been playing with that one. If you have some information, here we go. I just created something on the water cycle. Once again, it could be anything from your curriculum that you have. It could be a PDF. It could be a Google Doc. It could be a slides presentation. If I go into my B for Brisk once again, and I go to change level because I have some students that are not quite at this grade level, it says it is assessed at a reading level. It does, the AI does pick it up as a 4th grade reading level, but if that happens to be difficult from some of your students, you can go to 3rd grade. And let's say you have some MLL students in your classroom. Let's say you also need it in Spanish. You can change that right there. Click change reading level, and it'll create a completely different document that is at a 3rd grade level, that is in Spanish, and also provide you with a link to the original document as well. So just with a couple of clicks of a button, you can change the readability level and also translate it into different languages and have a separate document for that. As any other output from Brisk, you also have the opportunity to add some more things, to make it shorter, make it longer, to add more detail, whatever the case may be. That is always available to you as well. So I want to give you a couple minutes. I think that was the last thing before we go into the boost activity, Kathy. If I quickly take a look here. Yeah, that was it. So want to give you a few minutes or so. I'd say even if we go to 7:45, which is about 5.5 minutes, you can try any of those tools that we just went over. You can try any of the create tools that maybe you didn't have a chance to get to. We'll come back at 7:45. We'll quickly go through the boost activities. The boost student activities, those are a little more interactive with the students, but we'll go through a couple of those and then kind of wrap things up here. So once again, we'll give you about 5 minutes. 7:45, we'll come back. If you have any questions in the meantime, please ask away. All right, awesome. We're gonna just quickly go over the boost activity tools within Brisk. As I mentioned before, the boost activities within Brisk allow the students to kind of interact with your resource. And what I mean by that is you can almost create, I should say almost, you can create or use different tools to better engage your students with what you're teaching. I'm going to go over the writing piece in just a second, but Kathy, I don't know if you want to quickly describe that character AI that you created. I will preface it and set you up, Kathy. When you click on the B on any document and you click the boost student activity, you'll see that there are 3 topics, 3 areas here. You have an engage, and you've got 7 tools that you can use with your students that you can quickly personalize and share out via a link and a code. The students do not have to use their emails. They do not have to log in. You have some tools to assess what they're learning, and you also have 4 tools to help them with writing. Kathy's just going to go over one of the tools to engage the student, this one called Character Chat, and I'm going to go over the writing coach one with you in just a second. So I don't know if you want to share your screen. Kathy, looks like you took over there. So
I did.
Go for it.
Okay. So this, I'm doing a project-based learning activity with first grade classroom, and they divide themselves into 4 groups, and they chose 4 different Rhode Island native animals, and we gave them a list of animals that were amphibians, mammals, birds, and insects. And so this was the group from the American robin. So I want to show you what I did here. This is the character chat. So you've seen the grid, like Pete just showed you how you get to character chat. So it's, you know, you pick up the boost grid, but I wanted to get this prepped for you because it's 7:47. So I navigated to the character chat is what it's called. And so I click on a resource, and then I tell it I want to do character chat. So I clicked on this little resource. It's just, all it was a short little article about robins, because robins is one of the things that they wanted to investigate. And now that I've clicked on, I want to do a character chat with this resource, it comes up with this. I have character chat. I chose to stay in English, but now it says here, hello, I'm an American robin. I have a bright orange belly. Okay, that's great. First graders, not going to be able to read that. But see, it's got this little thing here. It will talk, it'll say these words, and I don't think my audio is going to be working here, so I'm not going to even play with that, but it will read this to them. And then see where it says chat with Boost down here at the bottom? The kids then can also talk to it. So it'll show up in this stream on the side here in print, but you also are talking back and forth. So kids that are struggling with language, kids that are struggling with writing and typing, they don't have to with this. They can interact with a resource and just talk to it. So this will, when I click on this, it will read that text to me. And then I come down here and I hit the microphone and I can talk back to it. And then it will respond to me, and it's literally a chat. It's as simple as that. I didn't have to do any programming. I clicked on my resource, opened my resource, clicked Boost, chose, well, where is it? Where's my, does it have my, yeah, let me come back here. Oh yeah, it does give you a little coding in order to do it, but let me go back here. So come back to this one. There you go. So this is where I started. So where I started is this is the article that I opened with. Here's the Boost, and see where it says Boost Activity, Student Boost Activity. So instead of Create, that takes me to the big menu, I'm choosing this Boost Student Activity. When I click that, this is the same one that the menu that Pete showed you. You click with character chat, and that gets me to, whoops, the place I was with my chat. It's so cool.
Yeah, so the character chat, right under the tool, it said it's best if you, and Kathy could clearly use it to have the AI act as a robin in this instance, but it works well with those who teach social studies, or you can ask it to act as a certain character in a book, and the students can ask questions of said character. Basically, the AI will be Abraham Lincoln, will be
anybody you choose,
whichever one you wanted, a red-breasted robin or a robin here. So gives the students an opportunity to interact and ask questions if you feel it would benefit. You do have, if you go back to that one page, and if not, I can, yes, exactly, Susan. You can see all of the activity, who did it, what questions they asked. So everything that they put in the chat is completely visible to you. You see how much time they can spend in the chat. So as the teacher, you get all of that background stuff. I'm going to quickly just show you the writing coach one. Try to get everyone out of here on time. So this was an essay or instructions I quickly created using Gemini, and it basically has the sections of my argumentative essay. It has, for the students, what needs to be in the section, and then ask them to type their writing in here. So this is where they would put in kind of the outline of their response to me. When I go to Brisk and I choose Boost Student Activity, and this time, instead of engaging them, I want to take a look at their writing. I'm going to click on Write, and I'm going to click on Writing Coach. And when I click on Writing Coach, similar to what you've seen throughout the night, it opens up this window. I'll have it in English, of course. And this time I'm going to add a rubric. I'm going to click on this rubric option. And I know I have an 8th grade argumentative rubric here somewhere. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to attach the rubric. I'm going to say this is for 8th grade. And I'm going to click next. If there's anything else that I wanted to add to this, I do also have this paper clip here that I can upload to Brisk as well. Real quick, just thinking about how else I would use that upload button. If you have handwritten notes, you can click on the create, click on this paper clip and upload a picture of handwritten notes, and it will generate all of the different tools, all of the different features that we've gone over based on a picture as well. So just something else to think about if that applies to you. When I click on next, it's going to ask me, what do I want the students to have? And basically I want them all to have an editable copy of this document here. I want to click grant permissions. From my perspective, I'm going to see the actual activity itself. I'm the teacher now, so the teacher sees this. This is how I can share it. I can either share the QR code or I can copy the link, and there is the code for them to join. This copy link has the code in it, so if you just shared this link, they would be all set. If I want to preview it as the teacher before I assign it, I'm going to click preview and edit. It's creating a copy for me. And now this is what the students will see. It's their document. The chat bot opens up on the right-hand side. I have all the instructions here. They could be in other languages if you prefer the instructions to be in different languages. There's a link to the rubric criteria. So if the students wanted to see what's part of the rubric, it's right here. They'll see the rubric here. However, when I now start typing here, and it gives me this kind of general message, say, hey, I'm glad you're here to work on your assignment. I'm here to help you. Come back to the chat whenever you need me. So I'm going to, in my writing here, and let's say for my hook, I'm going to say, I don't know, homework is stupid. Let's say that's my hook. So now I can go into chat and say, you know, what do you think about my hook? And obviously I'm being somewhat facetious here, but you see how what it will do is it'll read what you're actually typing in your document and give you feedback. So it says your hook, homework is stupid, is definitely attention grabbing. However, it might be more effective, so nice, so diplomatic, if you rephrase it to sound a bit more persuasive and less dismissive. How do you think you could express your opinion in a way that invites the reader to think critically about homework? Also, remember that a strong hook can set the tone for your entire essay. What do you want your readers to feel or think? It's always kind of positive, as you can see, telling me that it's definitely attention grabbing. But it's also kind of pushing you to think how you can improve it rather than just giving you the answer. All right, so if you feel like this writing coach would help your students write papers, it's definitely a tool to look at. Once the students are done looking at this and going through their dialogue, you can click I'm done. You'll get a message as the student that says that, hey, good job, you're all done with it. And I'm just going to save that as a draft right now. Anytime that I want to go back, I can click on my activities and I can see like, hey, here is the mock student. That was me. I just went through that. The mock student submitted it. I can click on view and go through everything that the student put in the chat. I can download it if you need it as evidence, whatever the case may be, you can see. Or I have some other options here where you can ask for a revision of their writing. So Once again, depending on what you teach and how you teach it, and whether or not you feel that this could be a beneficial tool to use with your students, depending on the grade level. It is very interactive. It may save you some time. I think, and I shared this with Jay Quinn, who's at our high school in Cranston, one of our high schools, that I think long are the days of just telling students to go home and write a 3-paragraph essay or a 1-paragraph in response to something. Especially at the secondary level, you're probably seeing more students perhaps use AI inappropriately. Using a tool like this, at least them going through an outline, gives you or lets you know that they're not simply copying and pasting from AI, that they're actually they're actually going through the process of creating an outline, and so on and so forth. Last thing I want to share, I know I've got 7:57 here. I know there are many Cranston teachers on here. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Obviously, thank you to everybody. In the slides presentation, we've shared with you some additional some tips on how you can add specifics to your prompts box. A couple of other tips. We've given you a short list of Brisk bites that shows you within 3 minutes how to use different tools. We've also, we would be remiss if we didn't tell you that Brisk is very safe, very secure. It'll never use student data to train itself. In fact, when you share those activity tools, the students don't even log in with their email accounts. There are some subscription plans. Once again, everything we showed you this evening was under the free version. There is a Brisk website. If you go through, and their website is very thorough. If you go through it, you'll see that there are some certifications for you to learn more about Brisk. And every certification that you do, there's only 2 of them, you get another month of free Brisk, the premium feature, going forward. So if you're brand new to it, you should probably have it for the rest of the year, the premium version. But if you're looking for additional premium features, maybe wait until the fall to do those, to get some additional months of free Brisk. We do share a newsletter in Cranston, and now Kathy and I share it with teachers outside of Cranston. It is on slide 37. If you're not from Cranston and you like to get it twice a month, it's 1 page. It has a bunch of resources, all free. Updates for Google, different ways to use Google, SEL resources, a prompt document that gives you prompt examples to put into any large language model, tech tips, you name it. If you'd like to be part of that and to receive that, please click here to sign up, send me an email, and we will add you to the list. In fact, this is tomorrow mornings. So for those of you in Cranston, you get a quick preview of what tomorrow mornings is going to look like. But that is all here. And of course, Kathy and I are always available to answer any of your questions, even after this evening. So if you ever have any questions on anything, please shoot us an email and we'll be sure to get back to you. So I have 8 o'clock. Kathy, do you have the PLU certificates? The one thing I didn't grab, can you put that in the chat for our participants?
I don't have that. I think you have that.
Yeah, you should have that too.
I'm not sure that you shared that with me because did you create the new one for this year? Yeah.
You,
so I don't think you shared it.
You want to hang around for 1 second? I will quickly put it in the chat.
Yep.
It'll
only take him a minute to find it, and it'll be in the chat for you.
If anyone has any questions, we can definitely do that. Copy link. All right, I just put it in the chat. Oh, that's not the one. Sorry, hold on 1 second. You don't need the Brisk one. You want the one for PLU.
No, thanks, Melissa. You're right. If they go back to the Rift website, the link for the PLU certificate is right there too.
Yep. But here it is.
There you go.
To make it easier. Let me make sure that's the right one. Yep, that's the one. So make sure you fill that out for your hour and a half. Once again, Sue, thanks for having dinner with Kathy and me tonight, and everyone else who attended tonight. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. We do have one next week. Kathy, you want to quickly talk about that before we wrap this up?
So next week is it's all me. Pete, I think, has got another commitment, so you're just going to be dealing with me. But it's a little bit more about the questions that we ask about AI. So it's what are the ethics? What are the challenges? What are the benefits? How do we overcome them? So it's a little bit more of the theoretical. It's really kind of it's not boring. It's exciting stuff. I love that stuff. But it really does. If you had to talk to a parent about why are you using AI, and these are the answers for you. But it is really more about what are the challenges with AI? How can we problem solve around them? What are the best uses of AI? Why do we bother? Why are we doing this? So it's more of a conversation next week about talking about AI, your experiences, your challenges, and it's sharing successes, what things are working for you. So it's called AI literacy. It's really about the fact that, like anything else, if we're going to teach it, we better be literate about it. We better know what we're talking about. So this is kind of the back end. We didn't think people would keep coming and get to all the tools if we did it first. That's where we kind of put it towards the end. So I hope I see some of you next week.
But awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.